Previously on the Beam Chronicles.
Howie wants us to do a new commercial, some car company. He specifically requested Charlie.
Fucking no.
It was not the first nor the largest destruction machine I had ever seen. It looked not unlike a massive metallic insect. You built this.
Yeah.
You're saying he seemed inexperienced at driving it?
This was blatantly his first time.
Do you think somebody gave him the upgrade? Do you think somebody else smacked Rick Fisher?
No.
The kid, Sydney. You need to take care of that kid, for me. Do you understand the kid?
I'll do it. One day of shooting, all right?
Deal. Thank you for stepping up, Charlie.
I sure as all fuck did not do it for you, Cranston.
These are the Beam Chronicles with your host, MJ Dooney. Book 2, Compromise. Chapter 6, Charlie Shayde.
Doomsday was here. It'd been over a month since I reluctantly promised Cranston that I'd do his stupid commercial, and I spent the better part of that month fretting about it, but there was nothing to fret about anymore. No reason to keep trying to run through the schedule in my brain. No way out of it. Nobody was gonna conveniently forget about it, and nothing I could do at this point would make anyone change their minds. I was there, on set in sunny Southern California, in the makeup chair. That still didn't mean I had to like it.
Now I heard a little rumor
The makeup artist informed me as I passively leafed through a magazine.
that you don't actually wear any makeup.
She had introduced herself literally a few minutes ago while she was setting up her stuff, but for the life of me, I could not remember her name. I wanted to say Hazel. She kind of looked like a Hazel. Early 30s, not fat, but heftier, I guess. Enough hairspray to drown a baby, long fake fingernails, constantly popping her gum. That is when she shut up for 5 seconds. Hazel was the sort of person who simply wouldn't let me sit there and plow through it all without talking or anyone talking to me. She hadn't done a single lick of work on me yet, but I already knew more about her family and career and life than I did about most people I saw every day. She was totally obnoxious at first, but seemed like the kind of person I'd ironically hang out with because nobody else did, then accidentally start growing fond of. She was kind of growing on me already, Hazel, if that was actually her name. Where the hell did you hear that? I scoffed without glancing up. She giggled, clearly anticipating a rude reaction. I was pleased to not disappoint.
Oh, you know, Jackson said it.
Now you know JT, huh? I smirked disinterestedly. Well, you guys like hang out?
JT? Oh my god. Do you call him that? That's so cute.
I rolled my eyes, but Hazel was too busy digging through her bag to see it.
No, he said it in here.
And she passed me the magazine she'd fished out. Hot Teen Magazine. I shit you not, that was the title, and there he was, in all his awkward foaminess, the face of our franchise, Jackson Teak. Big plastered grin, hair all styled up. Hot teen. I could not wait to give him shit for this. Dear sweet Lord in heaven, can I keep this? She looked intensely conflicted, like a mother whose 2 children were hanging from a cliff and she only had time to save one of them. I snorted at her horrified expression, which was kind of mean, so I assured her, I'll give it back when I'm done. I just want to make fun of him is all. I'll return it signed. How about that?
Okay.
She excitedly smiled and hopped up and down like a little girl waiting in line to meet a boy band or something. Grown-ass woman couldn't part with her copy of Hot Teen Magazine because Jackson's on the cover. People wondered why I hated being famous. You should have held out. I shook my head as I flipped through Jackson's embarrassing spread of photos, sixing up the magazine preemptively for the group back home. This shit is worth all 3 signatures.
Could you?
And she asked me with such extreme, desperate hope that, again, I had to laugh at her. Yeah, sure, why not? Hey, why do you have this, anyway? I tried to ask quickly before she could over-dramatically thank me too much. She blushed, turned away, started fiddling with some kit of some sort of makeup I didn't instantly recognize over on her counter.
Well, duh. Jackson Teak's on the cover. I had to buy it.
I smirked. It was a good feeling to be pulling down a desirable piece of ass, even if I was the only one who knew I was doing it. Ah, you're hot for his tamale, huh?
Psh,
She scoffed, like it was the stupidest question in the universe.
who isn't hot for his tamale? I mean, have you seen him shirtless?
Yeah, a few times.
Oh my god. That physique is like bone meat already, don't you think?
This Hazel was a real classy broad. It's funny, when we found him, he was scrawny as a post. I built that body from the ground up, as a matter of fact.
Really? Damn, I am a fan of your work, Charlie.
It would go on record as my least enthusiastic high five, but Hazel's zeal probably compensated for my lack. By the way, it's not true. I do wear makeup. Jackson's just an idiot. I guess more appropriately, a guy. He doesn't know the first thing about it. So if you're not a clown or a hooker, it's like 50-50 whether or not he thinks you're wearing any.
See, I knew it couldn't be true. I've gotten so good at replicating your look, I couldn't believe you were doing it all naturally. Anyway, we should get started. What do you have on right now?
Well, okay, right now I'm actually not wearing makeup. I sheepishly grumbled.
Oh my god, seriously? Holy hell, your complexion is like completely flawless.
Perhaps of all the compliments I'd ever received, I considered this one the most underwhelming. But to Hazel, it seemed like it was the pinnacle of regard, so I phoned in gratitude to match my esteem. Thanks. The trick is to break down your skin into particulate dust every couple of hours, then reassemble it. It really exfoliates the pores.
Is that true? Because you should totally quit Beam and take appointments if that's true. Is it true?
I don't fucking know, but probably fucking not. She giggled some more, finally started working on my face.
I knew you were a potty mouth, but man, you really let it fly. Close your eyes, please, dear.
By the way, I said, following her instructions, what did you mean when you said you replicated my look? Are other people trying to look like me?
Now, Charlie, everyone wants to look like you.
Again, a sweet enough sentiment that I didn't give a shit about.
But I was actually talking about my cosplay. For BeamCon, I go as you.
Oh, God. I accidentally groaned out loud, but Hazel had already made it pretty clear she didn't mind me picking on her a little bit.
It's really fun, you know? It's empowering to pretend to be you, dressing up in the big trench coat and boots. My husband goes as Jackson every year, too. He's too short and too fat, though. No attention to detail. He doesn't win any of the contests, not like I do. Plus, Jackson doesn't really have a costume.
I snarled at the notion that I had a costume, like some kind of stage performer or a roadside lunatic. But I don't think Hazel was trying to insinuate that kind of thing, and in fairness, my look was a lot more mimicable than Jackson's. Hazel didn't pick up on my disgust, kept talking about her somewhat unsettling hobby.
Hair's the hard part, though. You'd be surprised how hard it is to get a good Charlie Shayde wig. Yours is so hot, all lazy and chaotic, ridiculously sexy. Even the best wig makers don't get the essence quite right. They just end up looking like a homeless or Rastafarian or something like that. Now, my brother, back when he was into it, he used to make a pretty decent one before Beam busted him, that is.
Wait, hold up a sec. I opened my eyes slightly prematurely for makeup purposes, but who cared? Your brother got arrested for making wigs?
Oh my god!
She threw her head back to laugh, a high-pitched, cackly laugh.
No, Charlie. Trevor's an anomaly. Well, he was, briefly. Beam took all his equipment after he applied to join and they rejected him.
Shit. Hazel, are you messing with me? She smiled and shook her head, continued painting on my face. I momentarily felt a bit of relief that her name was, in fact, Hazel, but bigger things were on my mind by this point. Jesus, is he, did they equalize him?
Well,
She faltered off, turning back to her desk to get some other brush, undistracted from her mundane and pointless task of making me beautiful.
I guess, they didn't really exactly tell us. His wife and daughters, they told him he was being taken in for processing, and after that, we haven't really heard back from him. I assume Beam's pretty busy these days, from what I've seen on the news and stuff.
How long ago was this? I was dumbfounded, enraged at how calmly she kept doing what she was doing, telling me about how she idolized me, dressed up as me for nerd parties, won prizes for the accurate mimicry of me. Me, who worked for Beam, the bureau that kidnapped her brother, and either killed him or was holding him prisoner, but didn't even think they owed his family an explanation or even a distinction between those two possible outcomes. How could she be so concerned with matching my hair to her wig, when for all she knew we killed her brother, just for wanting to join our team?
Maybe a month. We called him a bunch since then, but they claim he's still in processing.
Hazel, sorry. Why exactly aren't you fucking ballistic about this?
Charlie, it's a beam.
She scoffed at my apparent naivete.
You know better than anyone what they say goes. Besides, it was his own stupid fault for building those bug machines. They weren't even that great, just big and loud, and after the fly, honestly, could you pick a worse theme?
Jesus Christ. Hazel's brother was the guy who built Fisher's mech. It dawned on me instantly. The giant metal spider we took to pieces the day we busted Hodges' killer. That's why they couldn't tell his family what was going on. Howie was probably having Peter draft up a story implicating the poor bastard in Clifton Hodges' assassination. How could his own sister, just accept that and get on with her life? How the hell did she love me so much?
Knock, knock.
Speak of the devil. In strode the reason for her unwavering adoration, Peter fucking Cranston, human toilet seat, the last person in the world I wanted to see as I toiled and grappled with my undeserved worship from this broken family of misguided sheep. Get lost, Peter. We're talking about something important.
No, sorry to interrupt girl talk.
He said with that smarmy plastic smirk, holding up his hands to indicate his good intention. I noticed the hanger hooked over his right thumb and the mysterious black garment bag suspended underneath it. Did he honestly expect I was going to dress up for this shit in anything but my standard attire? Peter, that better contain your fucking dry cleaning.
Ha!
He laughed falsely.
So charming. Wow. No, this actually is a gift, Charlie. This is your outfit for the ad today.
I don't think she should wear something different, do you?
Hazel shyly offered her uncontainable opinion.
The trench coat and all that, it's too sexy. Classic Charlie Shayde. Do you really want to tamper with that iconic image?
Trust me, doll, I really do.
Peter scoffed dismissively.
And besides that, withhold your judgment until you see this beauty for yourself, because, it's one of those wow dresses.
And when he pulled down the zipper and took the dress out of the bag, all I could do was sneer. It took me more than a few seconds to figure out how exactly it was a dress, in the sense that the sum total of body coverage it would provide was probably illegal in public. The length of it was almost precisely the distance from my tits to my ass, so God forbid I had to move at all while I was wearing it. Good thing I wasn't going to. I'd be embarrassed to put it on alone in a dark room on a deserted island, much less a commercial to be seen by millions of people.
Wow.
Hazel finally said, quiet and baffled, fulfilling Peter's predictive description. I, meanwhile, just burst out laughing.
And what exactly is so funny, Miss Shayde?
Peter, I know by your general demeanor you're on a metric fuckton of cocaine at any given second, but somebody must have spiked your morning bump if you let the thought pass through your deformed skull for a single instant that this was happening.
What? Charlie, this is a designer dress. It costs Beam thousands of dollars.
Then you got ripped off because it's like $14 of fabric.
Now don't be a prude. I think a gal like you would look marvelous in a dress like this. It'll showcase all your best features.
Yes, I especially like the way it'll narrowly obstruct my ass without bothering to encroach over an inch of my legs.
Well, if you don't mind me saying, your legs are pretty worth showcasing.
I do. I really do mind. God damn it, Peter, my gag reflex is in full suppression. Just by nature of being in the same room as you, please don't say things like that and push it.
Come on, Charlie, just give it a whirl. Try it on and see.
You'll try it on if you like it so much.
Charlie, listen.
Nope. Bye, Pete. Fed up. He spiked the $1,000 dress, if we're still calling it that, onto the ground and wiped his mouth ferociously with one hand, then rested his fists on his hips. He took a few glorious silent seconds to steel up his resolve to ask me the question he really wanted to, now that he finally had me relatively alone, then sputtered it out like he couldn't hold back the floodgates anymore.
Why are you so mean to me, huh?
That dress is fucking gross. I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing it. Therefore, I'm not going to.
Forget about the fucking dress for just a second, all right?
Peter uncharacteristically dropped a cuss word, harnessing my attention at least temporarily.
You obviously have some kind of problem with me. You undermine me at every turn. You never do the simple things I ask you to, so what is it? Huh? What is it about me you don't like?
Shit, you want a list? You're phony, obnoxious, pompous, a perpetual ass kisser. You talk weird, you look weird, you bother me. I don't like you because of who you are. I don't like you because you're not likable, but then I don't like most people, and I tend to just ignore them and avoid them. So if you want to know why I'm so actively antagonistic to you, you should probably be asking me why I hate you.
Fine. Petty distinction, but fine. Why do you hate me, Charlie?
Part of it is I don't think you're necessary.
You don't think your public image is important? I make people love you, Charlie.
But they shouldn't love me. I don't even love me. And that brings me to the second part. I don't like who you are. I hate what you do.
You hate publicists.
I hate liars.
Ah.
He clucked about for a while, shuffling his feet as he paced left and right, clearly insulted but not able to refute a valid point. I persisted through his overdramatics. Who's the second worst Nazi, Peter?
I beg your pardon.
He sighed exasperatedly. You know, Hitler's the worst. Everybody just accepts that, I guess, but then who's next? I don't know, by the way. I'm not asking for an actual answer. I'm pretty sure it's kind of subjective. There's a hell of a lot of good choices, or bad choices, I guess. You got an opinion? To me, it's Joseph Goebbels. You know Goebbels?
Yeah, I know Goebbels. I was a history major. You're not even pronouncing it correctly, by the way. He was Reich Minister of the Propaganda, and tread lightly here, missy, because I'm a quarter Jewish, all right?
Ignored. Joseph's job was a doozy, but I'll give him some bit of credit. He owned it. This sick fuck was saddled with the task of making the German people not only accept the Nazis, but embrace them. And by many accounts, he did a half-decent job at it, keeping them distracted from the truth, blasting them with fear tactics, pulling the wool over on them to the point where they didn't even realize what was happening. He didn't construct the genocidal dogma, he just pushed it onto a nation. Goebbels was a salesman, a peddler of bullshit, a professional liar. Sound familiar yet? I hate you because you're the second worst Nazi, Cranston. I hate you because Hazel's brother got arrested a month ago and she hasn't heard from him since, and I can't do anything because I have to shoot a fucking car commercial. I hate you because the world is on fire and all you care about is how sexy I look and how lovable Sid looks and how dashing Jackson looks. Well, we all just watch it happen when we're the only ones who could maybe ever put it out. At least you could act a little disgusted at the shit that you're selling, but no, you don't care at all. And you want to know why? You're Joseph fucking Goebbels.
Right. Did anyone by chance ever ask Goebbels how much money he made? Because I probably got him beat. It might shed some light on why I do it.
Holy shit, you actually have to ask people why they don't like you.
It was a joke, Charlie, and yeah, it's a nice, bold, shocking comparison until we come to the point that in order for your analogy to hold water, you're a Nazi too, so fine. I'll be Goebbels. Who does that make you, huh?
I know that requesting authenticity from you is like asking a dog not to lick its own ass, and I know you're so far up to your ears in your own horseshit that you probably actually believe half of it by now, but stop pretending that you and I are on the same team.
We're not?
No. Hell no. You're a loyal supporter. I'm a prisoner.
A bit dramatic, darling.
Is it? 75% of my life is completely outside of my control, including this commercial and everything to do with you. And the only way I maintain my sanity through that is by squeezing every ounce of happiness I can out of the other 25%, which means I'm going to tell you to suck the fattest dick every time I see you until you're just swift, inevitable murder and I'm not wearing that fucking dress.
Fine, all right? You don't like me, I don't like you. We're not friends, not teammates, but on issues like this, how you look, what you say and do in public, I am your boss.
Really not.
Really yes. So if I ask you to wear this dress...
He bent over to scoop it up off the ground, and I took the opportunity to demonstrate my rebellion against his authority, or lack thereof, by grouping away onto the set before he could even recognize that I was gone.
Oh, hey, Miss Shayde.
The director greeted me with a nervous smile. I glanced around the area, mostly still empty. Just a few crew members setting the scene, one cameraman focusing his lens. The car was already in place, but there wasn't much else around me. Nothing breakable. Should I have to toss Peter around?
Ready to get started then?
Well, hold off for a tick. I'm expecting Cranston to throw a tantrum in, 2 seconds.
Charlie!
On cue, his voice cracked a little as he stormed onto the set, bellowing my name, Hazel nervously tailing behind him to watch the end of the show.
I wasn't quite finished talking to you. Stop shooting. What is this?
He covered the camera lens the crewman was focusing with his hand.
What is this? She's not even in costume yet.
Peter, go away, all right? Your whole freakish little existence, it makes me nervous and angry. The camera picks up on that kind of thing. If you could just leave the set, my life, this plane of existence, it'd be best for all of us.
No, you listen here. You listen to me right now, or I'll...
I'm here on set, all right? Just as how we requested, against everything I stand for. I showed up. That's what you get. That's your win. Accept the compromise. I already told you 20 times I'm not wearing the dress.
Oh, yes, you are. You sure as hell are, and you know what? I'm sick of it. The attitude, the attention-whoring diva bullshit, the sob stories and the histrionics. You think you're the first self-absorbed bratty little bitch who I've had to make an image for? You think by now I don't know how to handle your obnoxious, arrogant games? Please, I'm done listening to everyone else. I'm gonna handle you my way now. And if that means me physically packing your skinny body into this slutty dress, so fucking be it. Hell, I might even enjoy that.
I would shut up, Peter. He obviously didn't.
And after we're done playing dress up, you know what you're gonna do, you snotty little bitch? You're gonna stand up there and you're gonna giggle and you're gonna shake your ass and grab your tits and wink at the camera and flirt with America for a 20-second spot. You're gonna shut your filthy mouth, cut out the personality shit, spin 180 degrees, and showcase the only attribute about you with any semblance of palatability, because when we cut the stuck-up bullshit, you're still the hottest woman on the planet, and that's what we're gonna sell. Call it prostitution, whatever. If the boot fits. We're gonna sell you as a sex icon, and in turn, we're gonna sell a boatload of cars, and after we make tons of money, and we buy you something pretty to keep you occupied, from then on, you are going to listen to me. You're gonna stop being such a sarcastic, annoying cunt, and you're going to become the obedient little whore deep down inside of you. You want Nazis? You want authoritarian dictatorship? Fine. This is my show now. Get used to it. Are we clear?
Finished?
Yeah. You know, I think I am finished.
Good. Say, Peter, have I ever punched you?
What? No, and you're sure as heck not going...
I decked him across the jaw with enough power to knock him backwards off his feet. The staff of the ad, or at least the ones already on set, buzzed about anxiously as I slowly walked toward his stunned body, sprawled on the ground next to the model car. I have a personal rule. See, when I want to shoot someone, I make sure I've punched him once first, because maybe he's just a tiny idiot who needed a reminder of whom he was talking to. I knelt beside him and grabbed his probably broken jaw, swiveling his neck so he was facing me. Consider your cherry popped, Pete. The next time you speak to me like that, anticipate a bullet. I leaned in deadly close, and he whimpered softly, started to shake. If you ever call me a cunt again, I'll ungroup your dick. Are we clear? I tossed him back onto the ground and began to make my purposeful retreat, but dumbass wasn't quite finished being dumb.
I'm a bad enemy to have, Charlie.
I'm worse.
I don't need you, you know. I can construct your image without your permission. Howie will trust my judgment. You think people love you now? Just wait. I can bring you all sorts of unwanted attention. There are about 14 names in my speed dial who would just love to get leaked the fabrication about you and Jackson sleeping together.
Peter the publicist was rudely interrupted by Guillermo. Before he could finish his weak, unsubstantiated threat, I grouped back over to him, shoved my gun into the top of his foot, and fired. Blood was gushing everywhere, and his eyes widened as he stammered through his thoughts as they ran through his mind.
Yeah, you shot me? You shot me?
Yes, but I told you I was going to.
You shot me. Why?
Oh, didn't you hear? I'm an attention-whoring diva, but you know how to handle those, right, Peter? I asked you to stop talking. Say another word, the next bullet will be in your brain. He finally shut his cocky little mouth. I stood up, let the crew rush to his aid, and turned to the director. I think we're gonna have to cancel this commercial, maybe. I just shot my publicist.
Right?
He nervously wiped the sweat off his forehead, glued to his seat. I can come back if you want. He stared at me with wide-eyed, trembling terror, and I let loose a hefty exhale. Or hell, better for both of us. You want Jackson or Sid?
Sure, I mean, whatever. Either's fine.
All right, well, sorry anyway. Where's Hazel?
Charlie?
She meekly responded from behind me. I spun to face her and she was unsuccessfully trying to hold back an excited grin. I laughed. Ultimately, I couldn't blame Hazel for the role she was playing in this beam mess. She had an incomplete set of facts. She adored a grimy, nasty, seedy world painted to look magnificent by Peter Cranston and Howard Prophet. Hazel was ignorant. And far be it from me to do anything about that, especially without somebody turning my brain off. Still, she deserved a little explanation for the injustices she'd endured, even if she didn't recognize them as injustices. Something odd about her catalyzed my guilt. What's your brother's name? The one we busted.
Oh, Trevor. Trevor Long.
I'll find him for you, get you some info. I'll send it to you when I send you back this magazine, signed by the whole team, all right? I've been sixing it, so I can take it with. Nice to meet you, and, thanks for being a fan or whatever. I grouped out of the studio to the soundtrack of Peter's labored wails. The best part about shooting my publicist in the foot, other than his face when I did it, was that I blew a hole wide open right in the middle of my typically busy schedule. Some no-namer from the set called me to tell me that Peter was fine, as if I cared or expected otherwise. The bullet went right through. But beyond that minor interruption, it was the lengthiest bit of privacy I'd secured since I started here 5 years ago. Ironically, on the day of my most elaborate resistance since the time Howie shut my brain off. I was surprised not to hear from Prophet, even considering that he'd been MIA for the better part of 3 months. I knew Peter was whiny enough to report it, partially at least. He'd want the specific details of his tirade to remain secret, but he'd also probably want Howie to punish me. And I wasn't completely worried about it. Prophet seemed to have a good enough idea of how annoying Peter was not to blame me entirely for finally shooting him. Still, I expected at least a reprimand, maybe a brief stint in brainless purgatory. Instead, nothing. It had been a long time since any of us had tested the limits of our imprisonment. Maybe the lines budged a little while we weren't paying attention. It was an exciting enough possibility that I made a mental note to mention it to Jackson and Sydney at the day's skirmish. I got to the arena first and Jackson shortly after. When he saw me alone, tightening up my boots and stretching, he hustled over eagerly, hugging me from behind and kissing my shoulders.
So, Sid's gonna be late. He's on a chase that's running longer than it was supposed to, but insisted we couldn't really help. Actually, I think he was kind of enjoying it. He mentioned something about jet skis, so I didn't push too hard. But, no Sydney, right? Want to delay skirmishing a bit? Do something else, our own little private skirmish?
He lifted his eyebrows suggestively, placed his hands on my hips as I spun around to face him, ignoring his advances to pursue a more hilarious avenue. Jackson, please tell me that you didn't do this interview. I reached into my trench coat and pulled out Hazel's rolled-up copy of Hot Teen magazine with Jackson on the cover. Please tell me this is a horrible, fabricated piece of libel and our legal teams are actively pursuing it, and you did not honestly do an interview for Hot Teen magazine.
Crap. Yeah, that was me.
He sheepishly scratched the back of his neck.
Cranston thought it'd be good to reach out to younger fans. I guess we're really popular among teenagers these days since we're kind of young ourselves.
You know you're not a teen, right?
I am aware, yes.
So why would you be in a Hot Teen magazine? I began leafing through it again.
I think the title actually refers to the target demographic, not the people they interview for the magazine.
Seriously, man. I ignored his explanation. This is something I would not want in print. Your grandkids are gonna read this beautiful piece of journalism one day. What was your favorite school subject? Ooh, riveting suspense abounds. What is your favorite candy? Ah, I'm on the edge of my seat. The pages, they turn themselves.
Leave me alone, Charlie.
Who is your celebrity crush? Who is your celebrity crush, JT?
It says it in the magazine.
He attempted to wave me off, lifting a few weight sacks and juggling them telekinetically, but I persisted. No, I mean, who is this girl? I've never even heard of her. Not much of a celebrity. He suddenly reverted his focus to me.
She's, from that one show on some cable station. Charlie, don't you think she kind of looks like you?
Oh, whoops. He thought I was jealous. I'd started to make a habit in these situations of just faking what he wanted to make him feel better, humoring him just a bit. Maybe it was kind of a bad idea, technically lying, but my rationalization was that I liked him enough to pretend a little for his sake, so what could it hurt? She looks like me, huh? I don't see the resemblance. I tried to ask scornfully, scrunching up my mouth and furrowing my brow at the picture.
You're prettier?
He blushed. I was relieved that I'd correctly guessed what he was looking for, but felt a little shitty. JT never faked his feelings to spoon-feed me what he thought I wanted to hear, whatever the hell he and I were. He was a much better one to me than I could ever possibly be to him.
And I mean, obviously you're my celebrity crush. I would have said you, but I think that would have been a pretty bad idea.
Right. Very bad, I said tersely. Never mind our privacy and how we... If you would have broken that story to Hot Teen Magazine, of all places, Cranston would have probably blown up the planet.
She called me, actually. My celebrity crush. After the interview, she wanted to meet up or something.
She called you? Shit, okay, no more faking.
Yup.
I punched him a little harder than I probably should have. You better not have talked to her.
I didn't. I think I was, with you when she did it. I didn't even have my earpiece in. She actually left me a voicemail, though, kind of a raunchy one. It's pretty funny. Do you want to hear?
Why don't you tell me, jackass? Do I want to hear that voicemail? I asked sternly, cracking my knuckles.
I will delete it.
He blushed and grinned, snickering, perhaps detecting the transition into some sort of authenticity in my reaction. It felt good to genuinely feel the way he wanted me to, even if it felt awkward expressing something as catty as jealousy that openly, but for Jackson, I'd shed a ton of my preconceptions about myself. Do all sorts of things I didn't want to, except, well, apparently not a commercial. Sign this, by the way. I promised someone I'd get it to them.
Hey, look at that. You reached out to the public and you made a friend.
He mocked me as he lifted a pen out of his backpack and scribbled his name telekinetically.
Told you it wasn't so bad being famous. How was the rest of it, by the way? How'd the commercial go?
Well... I said, snatching the pen before he could put it back and signing Hazel's magazine myself. You can tell me next week when you go and do it because I did not do it. And I flashed him a cheesy grin with all of my teeth, trying my best to look cute and cheeky. Cute was never really in my repertoire, plus I found it was paradoxically a lot harder to turn it on for matters of influence after you started sleeping with someone.
What do you mean you didn't do it?
He didn't even crack a smile. Well, I was there, and then I shot Peter, so I thought I should probably just leave before I killed him. He closed his eyes and rubbed his forehead.
You shot Peter.
Oh, right. Yeah, forgot to mention that, but just in the foot, and he's fine. He called me a cunt, then busted out Johnny Misogyny's chauvinistic thesaurus and dumped that out on me too, so I punched him in the face.
All right. So far seems justified. Why did you shoot him?
Well, he wouldn't shut up after I punched him.
Charlie, please.
So impatiently exasperated. He said he was gonna leak that we were sleeping together.
Oh, no. Does he know that we are sleeping together?
Yeah, before he used the C word and I subluxed his jaw. It was kind of funny. We were like really bonding, just dishing gossip left and right, so I had to tell him about it. No, you dipshit. How the hell would he know that? He was just threatening to start a rumor, and now he won't, thanks to me, so you're welcome. He scoffed away at my jest.
Charlie, don't get all sarcastic and defensive, all right? I'm not judging you, I just want to know what happened.
And it was true, I gave him credit for patiently listening to the reasons why I shot someone and considering my side. There was a time when I couldn't count on him for that much. Now I'd count on him for anything. I sighed, massaging my forehead a bit, then let it spill. Look, JT, there's this woman, my makeup lady, and she was telling me how much she idolized me and dressed up as me for conventions. Then I found out that Beam busted her brother a month ago, and nobody would even tell her if he was okay. So I was all turmoily about it, that she loved me, but we were ruining her brother's life. Then Peter showed up with this ridiculous dress, and he tried to assert dominance over me by making me wear it, and I hate the word cunt. And I probably should have stopped with the punch. I probably shouldn't have shot him. But it was just this perfect storm of circumstances that led up to it, and then there was blood, and people were freaking out, so I signed you up to sub in for me, and then I bailed. So just, do the commercial for me, I'll suck your dick later, okay? He sighed and shook his head, grimacing in disappointment, suddenly stoned with anger.
Fine.
Hey, come on, don't be like that. I admitted that I shouldn't have shot him.
I don't care that you shot Peter, Charlie. Peter really deserved to get shot eventually, if not just for what he said today, for who he is. The sum total of all things he's done since he's got here. Shooting Peter is like Whatever, it was inevitable. I'm glad you didn't let him talk down to you. I'm super glad you punched him. I'm even kind of glad you shot him. I get the Peter thing. I'm right there behind you on the Peter thing, 100%. It's not about Peter. It's about not doing the commercial.
Honestly, Jackson, I don't think I had it in me anyway. I just can't deal with the celebrity bullshit. It makes me queasy.
You think I like it? You think I'm dealing with all the Cranston shit because it's fun? Yeah, you got me. I'm just having a swell time, smiling and waving to strangers, cracking lame jokes, and making small talk with reporters being super fake. You think I want to do that ad any more than you do?
Well, no, but you're a million times better at it. Flattery got me nowhere.
Charlie, if you didn't notice, we're all doing stuff around here, these little sacrifices, these little compromises, extra doses of beam shit that nobody wants to do, so we take them on for the team. This was kind of supposed to be yours. I mean, I'm dealing with Foon Weekly because somebody has to. Sydney's almost tripled his bust output just to alleviate our stresses. He cleared 3 separate cases on Tuesday, 3 of them. You've never even done 3 in a day.
Okay, I'm with you. I spoke through gritted teeth, trying not to take his shitty accusative tone as a personal affront. We all have to do shit we don't want to do, but can't my shit be something besides a damn commercial? Why can't I kill 3 people on a Tuesday instead of convincing a mother of 2 that she'd rather drive a sweet car like me than have her husband at home?
Look, I get it, okay? I hate watching them blindly and mindlessly adore me too. It haunts me every night. The questions, how the hell are we going to solve all of Beam's problems when nobody thinks there are any and all the Hodges who try to talk about it get murdered? How are we supposed to escape when nobody thinks we're prisoners? It's frustrating and it's horrifying and it should be unbearable. It really ought to be, but it's not quite there yet. And the reason it's not is because we have each other to balance out the slack. We have to rely on each other to keep each other sane. So if you can't face the publicity side of things, that's fine, but don't volunteer to do it, then flake, then push it on me without asking, and then frickin' make a blowjob joke like you and me are just trading sexual favors on a spreadsheet.
Fine, fair point. I icily admitted, but in my head I was already beyond it. It irked me that he got so upset over something as commonplace as being unreliable when there was true evil all around us. Hey, you remember when you died?
Are you threatening me?
No, dumbass. I wanted to ask you about that kid. Remember Lindsay Flair's son? You died trying to protect him from her.
Yeah, I remember. What does this have to do with anything?
He ever get adopted?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure anyway. We can ask Sydney when he gets here.
So Sydney knows, but you don't?
You know how he gets when he thinks something's important. Nobody can even try to match his enthusiasm. It's like the Hodge thing. I told Sid about Hodge, but everybody associates him with Sydney because he just latched. Besides, it was my dying wish that he follow through on that kid. He clung to it like a barnacle. I didn't want to get between him and his working fixation.
You died for that kid, JT.
There were other reasons.
No, you actually literally died trying to save him, and you didn't even know him. You don't even care to figure out what his life is like now because Sydney has obsessive tendencies?
What in the actual hell are we talking about this for?
I don't know. Never mind. Look, it doesn't have to be like you said. It doesn't have to be like finding the most balanced way to distribute all the sewage. We don't have to accept a bunch of tiny losses so we can avoid a shittier big picture. Why don't we get a bunch of tiny wins that compensate for the shittier big picture? And it used to be you who pushed for that. Tell me, when was the last time you got really worked up over some inane ethical thing that nobody cared about but you?
Tyler Foon. Or wait, maybe The Fly? Hell, I guess both of them really. Gosh. You think I should go let them out again right now?
So 2 dumb assholes lead us into one thorny circumstance. We all survive, and now you're done caring?
Charlie, again, what the hell? Why do you keep bringing this up? You used to get so mad at me for trying to stick up for people and save them from Beam. 2 years ago, this was a source of literally all of our conflict.
No, 2 years ago I told you to start picking more winnable battles, but now you aren't picking any of them.
Why are we talking about this?
Because I'm worried about you. I don't think you care anymore. It used to be that I would have told you about Hazel's brother. You would have been spastic about it. Now you're just mad that I flaked? There's got to be a middle ground between getting yourself killed for the sake of child murderers and ignoring everything like you're doing now. He scoffed, sniffed in with his nose. I could tell he was more than a little agitated, but whatever. I had to say it.
Prophet wouldn't even let me. At this point, he'd just lock me in a room and flay my skin off until I promised I was back over the phase.
Prophet hasn't been in pissing range of this place for 3 months, you baby. And Cranston can't do shit. Murphy won't do shit about it. You think Howie noticed on his own a little moral victory here and there? He didn't even call me about this Peter thing, JT. You know Cranston tattled the first chance he got within grabbing distance of a phone. Besides that, you think he could lock you in a room for 20 seconds without the press getting wind of it and eating him alive for punishing the most popular man in the world? Use your phoniness for the forces of good, man.
I need us to stop talking about this, Charlie.
Why? What happened to you? What changed?
Flyfoot was my fault. It almost killed you and Sydney. I almost killed you and Sydney, all right? You want me to do that again? You want me to secure some little moral victories and make us all feel cozier, wager they won't blow up like they did last time? Little moral victories, if that isn't the stupidest, most nonsensical, blithering, what the hell does it even mean?
I'm just saying, maybe we could...
No, we're done talking about this. There's one victory, one thing in the whole universe that I care about, and it's not some overarching, shimmering in white light, idealistic bullshit sense of right and wrong built up in aggregate from the fucking metaphorical sunshine fragments and baby laughs I instill in world piece by piece. It's you. You are my victory, you goddamn moron. You compensate for the shit of your big picture 10 times over just by yourself. So yeah, thanks for basically telling me I'm a worse person than I was 2 years ago. That was super kind of you, but it's not exactly my fault that somebody blindsidedly eclipsed my entire list of priorities.
Awesome. My fault. I couldn't decide if this was exactly the answer I did or didn't want. I knew it was one of those two. He started to storm off before he'd taken 3 steps, spun around, and continued.
And while we're on the topic of middle grounds here, there's a pretty happy medium between bending over backward to appeal to the faceless masses and giving the press the silent treatment middle finger, shooting your publicist in the foot, and storming off sets, all because you reject your own celebrity. And hell, I wouldn't mind if both of us could get a shade closer to that medium so I could spend a little less of my time wanting to barf all over my own bogus insincerity. They're going to hate us eventually, Charlie. When it's all said and done, when they write the book on it, you'll get your wish. They'll loathe us like cankersores. Why push them to start sooner than they have to? Why give them another reason?
For a moment, we just glared at each other, and I caught myself thinking about all the ways I could kill him. How many times I could punch him in the same spot before he passed out from the pain, how quickly I could do it. I wanted to shoot him and kick him and to kiss him. Yeah, damn it, I said it. Right smack dab on his stupid face, straight on the mouth, and then never stop until the sun exploded and the whole planet was dead. But then he'd grab a little extra air so we could keep going a little more, and the last remnant of humanity was just floating in space, us kissing after this fight. I wanted to kiss him and punch him, tis punch. I wanted to kiss punch him. Suddenly I realized how fervently he was eye-teeking me, even when everything else about him assured that he wanted to murder me. The flared nostrils and the clenched fists and the heaving chest, the heaving, sculpted pair of pecs. I liked how we insisted that by keeping our relationship secret, it wasn't complicated.
Sorry that I am late.
Sydney jogged into the room as Jackson finally turned and walked away from me.
But my friends, I have a new passion. Yes, it is jet skiing. Ha! But more on that later.
He grinned a shark-tooth grin and rubbed his hands together.
Let us skirmish.
Good. Beat the living hell out of her, Sid. Kill her for all I care. Don't invite me to the funeral.
Jackson loudly growled as he brushed past Sydney.
Jackson, where are you?
But the door slammed behind him before Sydney could finish.
Where is he going?
He instead asked me. I don't know, Sid. To rationalize his depravity or something. At least that part hasn't changed. Hey, could you sign this? It's for a fan. I reached him the magazine with Jackson's face on it.
Hot teen. Ha, what a loser. And you two make fun of me for chicken nuggets. I am going to write an inscription. This is gross. Ha, ha, ha. How was the commercial, Charlie?
Bad, I grumbled, trying to set aside the fight with Jackson for Sydney's sake. I opted to use a more direct tactic than the last time I told this story. I didn't do it, plus I shot Peter. You'll, probably have to fill in for me next week sometime. Sorry, dude. I'll take your caseload, though.
Gladly, my dear. And congratulations.
For what?
Shooting Peter. I myself was approaching my tolerance limit with him. Now then, you seem to be in need of someone to punch.
You read my mind, Big Purple. Things were so much steadier and simpler with Sydney. No fake reactions, no constant bickering, no kiss-punch urges. Maybe I should have been in love with him instead of Jackson. Wait, fuck, holy shit, in love with Jackson. Fuck, did I really just think that? Holy shit, did I need to punch something?
Thank you for listening to the Beam Chronicles, a fiction podcast written and produced by me, MJ Dooney. No exciting news to report. I hope you've enjoyed the first 5 chapters of Book 2. Email me for any reason, beamchronicles@gmail.com. I have money for art if you want to make me some art. Socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. No idea what I'm doing. That's okay. If you have not done so already, a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're using to listen to this would be downright swell. If you already did, thanks. All music and sound effects were sourced from the Epidemic Sound Library. Special thanks to Sergio Duarte for creating the cover art for this podcast. Thanks again for listening.